be done for next adventure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm doing it now.
Okay, guys, we are back. We have sorted out the issue with the armor. The game is doing it correct. There's not a problem with that. So we just need to sort out what we're carrying and what we're not carrying, and then we can sort that out, ready for the next thrilling adventure after this one. So here we go. So we are currently all stood over the top of this ladder going down. It's not a drop. It's about 10 foot or so. It's not a sheer drop down. It is sort of like quite a... It looks like it's been there for quite a while. And there is...
Gully's going to look down this hole, and then he's going to look back towards where the mole men came out of. And he's going to go, guys, what happens if we weren't looking for just one thief? What happens if we were looking for two thieves? What happens if the mole men were stealing the food, and then whatever's come out of here, it must be some type of something with intelligence, because otherwise they wouldn't hide it like this. What happens if they're stealing the ale? And that's why there's sort of like that mattress down at the bottom. It's so that they can push it or roll the barrels in, and it will bounce at the bottom without breaking. I've seen people do that on the dock area when I lived on the streets.
That does sound like a plausible thing. I think the only answer is to go down and follow and find out.
Miko says, interesting, Gully. Do you think the crates were clawed open before, or broken into?
Oh, I don't know, Mistress Miko. Maybe we should have. Is there any crates that are open? Maybe we can have a look, see whether or not they've been prized open, or whether or not they've been attacked with claws. That's probably the best thing to do.
Well,
and I think we should push one of these crates back over the entrance, so that to try to stop any more mole men coming in.
Good idea, she says. Perhaps one of these strapping men over here, she's not looking at you, Gully, could reposition something over there. Gully, go... Hengist, sorry, Gully, go and inspect the other crates.
Briggs
is
is
going to
go.
Yes, Mistress Miko, and he's going to go off, and he's going to, with his lantern, and he's going to go and start looking around the other
Hengist and Briggs. Hengist and Briggs, you were trying to say something. Yeah.
Hengist was just going to say, right, let's move this crate big, Briggs, and he's going to start pushing it.
Yeah, hearing her say that, Briggs is going to like grow 6 inches because. I'm a strapping man.
Yeah.
And in more of a stir. But he's gonna go and help Hengist push this crate.
Yeah, and you managed to sort of like push it back to where it was before. If you remember, you had actually moved it from a place before.
Hengist, sorry to interrupt. No. Hengist would also like to put a second one, because he remembers that the MoleRats had managed to already push the one crate that they'd already put there previously. So he'd like to put 2 crates behind, in front of the entrance.
Yeah, cool. There you go.
And then he's going to dust his hands and go, let's see those more men get through that.
Yeah. Insight check, please, Gully.
Ooh.
Yeah, you look at the crates, and they seem to be, as you can see from the picture, they seem to have been boarded back up again. You can't see any scratch marks or anything like that on them at all. Please remember, are you actually in the dark where you are now, Hengist?
He was, but as soon as he's finished and dusts his hand off, he's going to walk back into the light.
I didn't know whether or not the light was still working on the map, because I can't actually get it to work on my sort of like screen. It doesn't seem to be working at all.
Gully and Miko got lanterns, so on our screen there.
No, Miko doesn't anymore.
Okay.
Hers is.
She drops it down the thing, hasn't she?
Yeah, but her lantern doesn't seem to want to stop working.
Oh, it stopped working on mine now.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's just not working. It's still working on mine, which is cool.
So Gully can't decide from these crates whether or not they've actually been opened by a man or beast.
No, they seem to have been boarded up again, which might suggest that a large chunk of it has been removed.
Right.
Hengist is going to turn to Briggs and say, Briggs, do you want to go and give him a hand? Because obviously, being a huntsman, you know the signs of animals better than any of us.
Yeah, Briggs is going to go over there anyway because that's where the light is, and he doesn't want to feel uncomfortable. But yeah, he's going to nod and go over and have a look.
Yeah, cool. By all means, roll your perception check.
Perception.
No, sorry, insight. It is.
Insight,
yeah, because Gulliver rolled insight to see.
It's under standard skills.
Oh, a fumble! Don't forget to click it, because you'll get a free. Just for people watching the stream, if you get a fumble, you automatically get a free upgrade on it by 1 point. So his insight will go from 25 to 26 next time. Okay, so Miko comes across. Let's see how she does. And she sort of like says, she sort of like points things out to you and says, look, all that has been removed. It doesn't look like it was done by claws. It looks like the whole side has been removed.
So that kind of points to not being more men, or rat men, or more rat men.
It certainly does.
And more seems to be pointing towards thieves.
Coming for both. So they were coming for both barrels and food.
Which
maybe there's not food. Are these crates open?
I didn't see your ping, sorry.
Are any of these crates open?
No, they were, but can you see now they've been so they've been closed by these big wooden panels going across them. So these ones over here, what they normally look like. This is one that has been opened that you can't see unless you bring the light down. So these look like they've had the tops taken off, and then because they've taken the tops off, they've been put back down and hammered down shut with extra wood.
Okay, so ones with the crosses on are the ones that have been sealed.
Correct. Yeah, sealed after they've been broken.
After they've been opened.
But these are pretty big crates.
Yes.
Basil's probably come along and seen that all his crates have been broken into and has fixed them. So the likelihood is that the thieves are coming from this trapdoor.
Gully's going to look at Hengist, and he's going to look at the crates, and he's going to say, Hengist, these are very big crates. How much food has Basil got?
Well, he runs a tavern, and they go through a lot of food. Think about the amount of cheese you ate earlier today, Gully, and they come in big wheels of cheese. Well, as you would know because you love cheese so much.
I think we should
easily
open
fill a
one.
couple of those.
I think we should open one.
Briggs is thinking, since the crates were over the trapdoor, has the food and wine stopped getting taken into. So he's going to try and put that across in how he would talk.
Yeah. So
what happens if Basil is also a smuggler?
So the sequence of events was that there was food and ale going missing. They moved the these crates over here to see whether or not there was any sort of like entrances into the cellar. And that's when they found this tunnel. And then you were sort of like called upon to stop it. And there were probably like 2 or 3 days in between that happening and you coming down. But do remember where the crates were when
they were
being moved over the trapdoor.
Yeah.
By mistake, or
so whoever's been coming through the trapdoor hasn't been able to because of the type of trapdoor it is, but that's let the rat men in.
What do you think we should do, Hengist?
I think we should go down the trapdoor and see where it goes, because it could lead into a hideout of some sort.
Miko turns around to you, Hengist, and says, "Down the ladder." And she sort of like looks down at her robes and sort of like looks back up at you, almost like looking quite concerned.
If you go down first, Mistress Miko, then you're there'll be no problems of impropriety or whatever the word is.
She says, "You want an old woman to go down first before you?"
What if there's more rat men down there?
Into consideration and use this to his advantage and turn around and say, move crates back over the trapdoor.
But just leave it. We need to find out why they come in.
So perhaps. Because Briggs, I know I'm now aware that you're not very comfortable being down here. Perhaps you and Mistress Miko should go and tell Basil what we've found, and Gully and I can go down the tunnel and see where it goes.
She sort of like looks at you, Hengist, and says, "Are you trying to get rid of us, Master Hengist?"
Not at all. You just said that you didn't want to go down the ladder first, and that you didn't want to go down the ladder second, whilst someone else was down there because of the nature of what you're wearing, and that you're a woman.
She sort of like says, Master Hengist, you have to learn to interact with ladies. I see from your gruff nature that you find it somewhat difficult. Remember, you could always avert your eyes.
Gully's going to go up really close to Hengist, and he's going to go sort of like, almost like he's saying it so only Hengist can hear, but he's not very good at anything like that, so everybody else is going to hear as well. And Gully's going to go up to him and say, "It's best that they actually come with us, Hengist, because you're not doing too well."
Hengist is just going to shoot Gully a glare and just ignore that entire comment.
Mistress Miko sort of like sighs at sort of like your general dismissal of her power after, and she almost like says, I wonder who batted the last MoleRats head in. And
you killed one, Mistress Miko, and I killed the other. And Hengist pushed a crate.
And she sort of like reaches down between her legs, and she grabs the back of her robe.
Oof.
And she pulls it up round the front and tucks it into her belt. So she's almost like wearing it like a nappy, like a huge diaper now. And she sort of like says, you can actually see her her bony legs. You know,
Hengist is going to now avert his eyes and pretend he hasn't seen this, and pretend there is some modesty still going on.
You can sort of like see her bony legs that are quite sort of like covered with sort of like grey hair, and she's sort of like got little booties on, and she sort of like stands up and she sort of like looks at you, Hengist, as you're sort of like looking the other way.
She puts her hand on her hips.
Oh yeah, she's got one hand on her staff and the other one she puts on her hip, and she sort of like looks over to you, Hengist, as you're sort of like trying to vote, and she says, "Well," she says, "I'm ready when you are." Like that.
Hengist is still averting his eyes. He's going to mumble, I didn't mean to infer any offence, Mistress Miko. Please accept my humble apologies. I was trying to be courteous, but obviously I still have a lot to learn.
She goes,
Briggs stare at her legs, but in a way that he thinks he's not staring. So he's going to be like looking at her legs, but like with his eyes just directly. Well, he's going to look towards Hengist to Gully, but like obviously is
Looking out the
He's
corner
going to
of his
look
eye?
indirectly at.
yeah. That's what I was trying to say.
Lady Miko sort of like sees you, sort of like glancing, and she says, she sort of like leans towards you, Briggs, and she says, "Don't worry, Master Briggs. They have that effect on most ravaging young men."
Hengist is just going to ignore
watching all this
and
happening, and then he's going to sort of like say, "I think we're ready to go."
Hengist has already started down the ladder. He's had enough of this. He's rather embarrassed himself, and he's just going to start.
Just out of interest, when she did lean forward, you also noticed that she had no upper body support on at all. So there was lots of
Hengist
things.
did not notice this.
There was lots of things drooping at that
Gully
point.
did.
Yeah. So Hengist heads down,
Hengist is gone.
down the ladder, and she sort of like turns around to she's sort of like addressing both Gully and Briggs at the same time. She says, "Hold this!" And she sort of like holds out her staff that has all these sort of like feathers on and everything, and she sort of like says,
Gully's going to immediately try to grab it before Briggs can.
Yeah, and
she'll go, I'll hold it, Mistress Miko.
And she says, she looks very sternly at you, very sternly, and she says, "And don't touch the feathers." And she sort of like
looks a bit upset about that, as if that was exactly what he was going to do.
And she
probably will do anyway.
Pull off some of the moss that was on it.
And she sort of like hobbles over and then sort of like lowers herself down, and you sort of like glance around, Hengist, just to see her sort of like coming down those bony white hairy legs, sort of like you actually think she's quite nimble for a lady of her age. And she gets down to the bottom and she picks up the lantern, and she calls up Gully and she says, "Drop the staff, boy!"
So Gully's going to go up to the edge of the thing and drop the staff down.
Yeah, and as you drop the staff down, you one of the feathers, a bright blue one, actually sort of like brushes against your arm as it falls down, and you almost like get this. It's almost like a feeling of electricity as it touches you. It's almost like pins and needles as it sort of like goes over your arm, and it's sort of like. I didn't hear a word of that, by the way. It's just sort of like brushes up against your arm, and you it's almost like it goes bzz, and sort of like gives you somewhat of electric shock as it goes down. And as it comes down, you almost like you're not too sure, but you think it actually almost like slows down as it gets close to her, and she does sort of like. It's almost like she puts her hand out and it almost like goes to her hand, and she just grabs it. It's not as if it clicks the floor and she grabs it. It sort of like comes down, and at the last moment it slowly starts to float, slows down, and she grabs it, and she undoes her skirt.
Gully's
and
going
picks
to
up the
turn
lantern.
around to Briggs and say, Briggs, did you see that? Did you see what happened with the staff?
Briggs is just going to turn around and say, we're going down then.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go first or second?
Hengist is going to call up and go, Gully, make sure you go last.
Briggs is going to go.
Push him down if you have to. We need him.
He's just going to go bugger and start climbing down. He's good at bugger.
So once Briggs is down at the bottom, Gully's going to get to the edge of the thing, and he's going to make sure he's got his bearings on the ladder.
Yeah.
And he's going to say, "Look out below!" And he's going to drop his lantern that he was carrying, and then he's going to try to go down the ladder as well.
Yeah, well, it's quite easy. It looks like this ladder's been in here for a long time, and sort of like I'm just sort of like telling you all now what you observed with the ladder. It seems to have been almost like forced into the sort of like the ground, and it's you probably think it was some kind of an escape route, or maybe some kind of a smuggler's entrance from ages ago. And the mattress on the ground is quite plump, and it's almost as if it's been continued to be stuffed through a number of years. And it's not sort of like dank or anything like that. It's obviously been used. And as people suspected, it does have quite a dip in it, which is almost like bowel shape. And you do think that it's been used to sort of like soften the blow of bowels being pushed down. You also notice that the tunnel that sort of like stretches off before you is, again, it's well carved. It's been chiseled out of the stone and the ground for some time. And you also notice that there are places where it looks like there's been a sort of like subsidence, or almost like cave in, and there's been extra support hammered up onto it, and sort of like almost like buttresses of wood preventing it sort of like caved in, as if it's natural, but actually been there for a long time, and it's being kept. There's some kind of upkeep.
How far did we actually come down? How far is the ladder? Did we come down 10, 20 foot?
Yes, it's just over 10 foot, you think, which I have to be careful because this game is not actually in feet, isn't it?
No, it's in meters, isn't it?
Yeah. Which I always think. So about just over 3 meters roughly, going down, and it the ladder is very well worn. You notice that a lot of the struts going across, there's a little delve in it, as it's being used, and again it's well in the wall, and you do notice that at times when it's come slightly adrift, you notice that somebody's actually repaired it at several moments.
But Basil's only been noticing things food and ale going missing for a few days.
A couple, yeah. Well, about a week and a half.
So perhaps somebody's just recently rediscovered it, discovered where it's gone, and has gone, "Ooh, let's pinch some of this stuff." Potentially.
Do you wish
Anyway.
do you wish to proceed down the?
That's
Does it
that's what I was about to
go?
say.
Does it slope down or anything, or does it just go in?
No, you seem to have come down your 3 meters, and now it's just sort of like heads off, and you can see from the light. It's you can't see anything from the to the extent of your lantern light. There's nothing, there's no exits off or anything like that. There's no Umber Hulk sort of like stood there or anything like that. I used to love that monster.
Yeah. Is there any form of light, not a source of light, unlit, that is down at the bottom of this ladder, or is it the fact that anybody who's been coming backwards and forwards, if they've used the light, they've actually taken it? There's not sort of like a torch holder at the bottom where they would have maybe left the torch to go up, or
no, but just like you, they could have just rested a lantern on the floor, or taken it up with one hand. The ladder's not hard to actually navigate. It's quite easy just to sort of like step up. Most of you think you'd probably be able to do it, with one hand. And with a lantern, maybe even attached to your belt, or on a sling coming down from one side.
Okay.
Hengist is going to get his shield off his back, make sure his sword is drawn in a firm setting, and he's going to turn to the rest of them and say, "Shall we make a move?"
I think we should. I think we should head down, because we've got other things to do, and we need to do this for Basil so that we can actually get our board and lodgings.
As soon as Gully says that, Hengist isn't going to pull. He's going to wait for the others, and he's going to start striding down the. Sorry, okay. Is it quite? Does he need to stoop, or can he stand up straight?
No,
he's quite a tall chap.
Yeah, it's about the tunnel is about. It's about 3 meters tall.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
And it's more of an arch shape.
Okay, so yeah, Hengist is going to be striding down the middle. Shield was like half raised, swords was like. Down at his, not dragging on the floor, but he's got it at the point angled down, like at a rest position, and he's just going to stride purposefully down the middle of the tunnel.
So you're right. 2 things that I need to do. First of all, while you're in this room, can you just sort of like organize yourself in some sort of order? Because at the moment, there's sort of like there's 3 of you abreast, and you won't be able to actually do that. So if I put Hengist at the front there, if the rest of you organise yourself and where you want Lady Miko as well.
Can we walk 2 abreast?
Not if you do, you can do it, but people like Hengist will not be able to have his sword and shield out. He could probably have his shield, but there won't be any room on the opposite side of him.
Okay, well, when he can, Gully wants to walk with Mistress Miko by the side of her.
So Hengist is at the front, and he's going southwards from there. So can you see the way?
So that's the front. He's travelling down this way then.
He's going to the bottom of the map. Yeah.
Right. So whereabouts are you going, Briggs?
Who has the lantern?
Mistress Miko does, and Gully does.
Then he's gonna mingle himself in between or next to, so sort of like here, maybe not there, but
you have to go. You have to go in front because I'm.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What he's gonna do is he's gonna try and be in the light as much as possible.
Yeah, that's cool.
But for comfort wise.
Yeah, so is that how you're going to go down it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, then. So just going back to you, Hengist, you mentioned that you were striding down the tunnel. Is that you're just sort of like just walking down, not concerned about anything?
No, he's striding down purposefully, but he's obviously keeping an eye out for anything that could potentially be a threat to him or the party.
Yeah, it was more. I mean, I take it that you're sort of like I didn't know whether or not you are progressing down the tunnel in order to try to keep quiet, or whether or not everybody's just sort of like walking down as if you know where you're going, and you're just sort of like do. That's what I was more concerned about.
Yeah, he's going to be trying not to make too much noise, but he's also thinking speed at the same time.
Okay then.
If that makes any sense. So he's not going to be banging his sword against the wall, or he's going to be trying to make as little noise as possible whilst going as fast as he can without running.
Gully's going to think back to when he was on the sea crest, and when he was having a snoop round in the old belly of the ship or belly of the boat. And it was after Captain Seatide had asked us to move, that we might be required to smuggle certain things in and out of the... smuggle something off the ship. So Gully went to do a bit of snooping, and he found some crates at the bottom of the...
He certainly did.
Were they actually the same size? And...
Well, to be honest with you, they were standard crates.
Right.
So you sort of like think that's exactly... these are all sort of like quite standard, normal, everyday crates.
He's just thinking to himself that Captain Seatide and Basil knew each other as well.
He certainly did.
So as he's walking, he's not going to be shouting this, but he's going to sort of like say to Mistress Miko, he's going to say, Mistress Miko, how long have you known Basil? Because he knows you, doesn't he? He says that you come and stay at his inn a lot.
She's just sort of like leans really sort of like down to you, and sort of like she goes, Gully. That is something you'll have to work out.
Has he always been an innkeeper?
She's just sort of like she's sort of like as if she's it's almost as if she's told you what she's going to tell you, and you're almost like that little child now. You know, that child who's going, has he done it really? And the mothers are sort of like walking along. And she just seems to be just ignoring you, all your questions that you're sort of like firing at you. Hengist, you do notice that up ahead there seems to be somewhat of a pale light. It appears to be you. Just make an insight check. Yeah, you think it's probably something to do with maybe fire or lanterns or something like that. It's not sort of like a bright light. It's a very sort of like dull light, and you can see it. You can see in the distance that it's outside your. So imagine that you've got some light, and then there's a bit of darkness, and then now you can see this further on. And you can see there's sort of like a faint glow.
Hengist is going to slow down. Slow down as soon as he starts seeing this, and he's going to raise his hand. Obviously, you can't raise it up like this, but he's going to raise his hand up.
He's going to
like this with his sword,
like wave back,
and he's going to turn and say. He's going to turn and whisper quietly to Briggs, who's fed close behind him, and goes, "There's another light source down here. Whoever's down here is not far ahead. Be ready."
You actually think that
should we turn our light off?
You actually think that the tunnel probably widens somewhat.
Briggs is going to pass the message back in the sort of whisper that. He thinks that Gully and Mika can hear, but obviously in the stutter. So it'd be like light ahead.
I think
Billy's going to look for something to cover his lantern with.
Yeah. That's quite easy to do.
And then, I mean, hopefully we'll still be able to see the light ahead, if you see what I mean. From what we saw of the tunnel, we should be able to carry on making our way.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you can remember there's that bit of darkness, so if you sort of like block off your lanterns, that you can still see it where you are. It's just that you'll have no light coming through that last little bit.
Hengist is going to advance just like to the edge of the light. Then he's going to pause and wait to make sure that everyone's caught up with him before we do the next bit.
So Miko puts the shutters on her lantern as well, just like Gully, your lantern is sort of like has those shutters that you can put.
So Gully will shutter his lantern, but before he does that, he's going to reach into his tunic and take out his the disc that he uses to cast some of his sorcery spells.
Well, it's dark where you are, but you can see in the distance this sort of like yellow glow. Briggs and Gully, just make an insight check for me.
Ooh, nice one.
Yeah, Briggs is more concerned that it's dark than anything else.
Yeah, Gully and you figured that it seems to be either, you sort of like tell the party, you think it's either fixed lanterns or something like, you remember from when you were with Master Healy that often you had, like braziers. That sort of like had coal in them, and they didn't give a flickering light. They gave more of a constant
warm glow.
Say again, sorry.
A warm glow.
Yeah, and you figure it's probably coming from something like that.
How far have we travelled from? How far were we going to be from?
You figure now that you're probably getting very close to the docks.
Gully's going to go up behind. He's going to approach. Hang on, sorry.
Bless you.
Sneezes into Mistress Miko's ear.
That would have been really funny if your wig had gone.
Mistress Miko.
Gully's
wait for
going
it to turn around as well.
Going to go up to the rest of them and say, and sort of like whisper, maybe someone should go and have a look.
Briggs is going to turn around and say, maybe you should put the light back on.
I'll go. I don't mind going, Briggs. I'll go.
Hengist is not going to let that happen. He's going to, if Gully tries to push past him, he's going to put his hand on shield arm out to stop him, so he can't physically get past. And he says, "Not you, lad."
But they'll hear you coming, Hengist.
We'll send the hunter. It's fine. There's light up ahead. He'll be happier.
But I'm small and quick. I could just beat them and back before you know it.
Hengist is now going to actually turn and look at Gully, look him straight in the eye, and just be like, "Are you sure, lad?"
Shh.
In a whisper. Quiet. He's doing this in a whisper, but I can't whisper. Otherwise, I'll go into a robot.
Gully's just sort of like nods, and he's going to head down the corridor, trying to be as stealthy as he can.
Hengist is also going to turn to Briggs and give him a nod, saying, and then and say to Briggs, don't let him get too far ahead. Keep an eye on him.
And he wants to get down so that he can actually see. Does it look like it opens up into a room?
Yeah, most definitely.
So keeping as much to the shadows as he can, hugging one of the walls, the right hand wall. He's going to have left his lantern there next to just on the floor where Miko was, and he's got his disc that he uses in one hand, and his other hand he's just using it to feel along the wall as he goes through the darkness, as he heads towards the lighted area. He's going to try to keep close down to the ground, almost like he's not crawling, but sort of like trying to keep his as small as possible. And he wants to get so that he can see a bit more of where it opens into.
Okay, so first of all, roll your stealth skill for me, please. Yeah, so you notice that all of a sudden Gully sort of like disappears into the darkness, and he sort of like blends in really well, and sort of like starts to you just notice 1 minute he's there, and then the next minute he's just like gone. And can you make for me, please, an evade roll? Okay, so as you go into the darkness, Gully, you are sort of like hugging the right-hand wall, and all of a sudden, as you're going along, you suddenly feel that the floor in front of you suddenly gives way. And luckily, you're up at the wall, but you still don't manage to. You still lose your footing at that point. But rather than falling as you would have done in the middle, you actually slide down it. Okay, and you sort of like lose your footing and head on down.
Can I use a luck roll to re-roll my evade?
If you've got any luck left, you certainly can.
I do indeed. Mind you, Christ, it's is it evade that I'm rolling? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay, so you suddenly slide down, and as you slide down, you suddenly land at the bottom. You land on your right arm as it goes down, and you take 2 points of damage to that right arm. Are you seriously wounded or anything?
It pushed me down to 1.
Okay, so you sort of like land on the on the ground. Can you just make for me, please? Let's think what would be the appropriate one for this.
I think insight or invocation.
No, I don't think we will.
Boating's probably not a good choice.
No, I'm trying to think of a roll that you can roll so you don't actually cry out.
Willpower.
Yeah, that's a good one, apart from we don't have it.
Yes,
Yes, you do. Yeah, yeah, excellent. Yeah, go for it. Let's do willpower.
Okay.
Nice one.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah, so you sort of like land on the thing, and you feel your right arm crunch underneath you. And one of the reasons it's crunched underneath you is because you sort of like, when you feel around, it almost like seems that you're in a you're sure you're in sort of like a pit of skulls, and that they're not dead heads. They're actually bone skulls, but luckily you managed to stop crying out as you hit the floor.
How far down did he go?
Yeah, it was about like 2 to 3 meters down, but luckily because it's because of your because you were by the edge, because you said that you were going down the edge. Rather than dropping down, you actually slid down the sides of the almost like the pit, and slid down and sort of like whacked your thing. So
did it? I mean, Gully's going to feel around the side of this where he's fallen down to. Do the sides look like it's a sheer drop?
Well, you can only touch them because you have no light with you. So roll your insight, but it's going to be a hard roll. No. So you sort of like reach around and you can't sort of like figure out whether or not it's actually been dug out on purpose or whether or not it's natural.
Hengist
okay, but he doesn't feel any handholds or anything like that.
You can probably try to climb out, but it would be a hard roll.
Okay, he's going to put his disc back in his tunic before he does that.
Yeah.
Hengist has some time passed.
No, this hardly any time at all.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't be. I mean, as far as you know, that he's just still, because he managed to stifle the cry. So as far as you know, that he's still stealthing forward and towards whatever the light is.
So can he keep on to follow the sort of like the right hand wall, like the wall that he was following until it comes to the other?
Yeah, I mean
the other side. How wide would you say?
You figure it's about 2 meters in in length.
Okay, so he wants to try to maybe. Does it feel like it's stone?
No, it's more dug out earth.
Okay, so feeling that it's dug out earth, he wants to. He's going to fumble in the darkness to see whether or not he can find his knife.
Yeah,
and he wants to almost try to stick it into this ground and sort of like try to make a foothold.
Okay.
Sort of like a couple of feet up to give him and then do the same.
Okay, so
on a bit further, but he's going to try to do it as quietly as he can.
You've already got one knife though, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. No, he wants to move some of the dirt so that he can almost get his foot into the wall.
Okay then.
And then he wants to do it another one a bit further up, just to the left.
Okay then, yeah.
And then another one as far up as he can reach. So he's almost going to put his right foot in one and then use that to reach up, grab the other one, and then he's going to put his left foot up in the one that he's made to the left.
Okay then, so normally this roll would be hard that you're going to make, but because you've used that, I'll put it down to standard. If you weren't injured in your right arm, it would have been standard to easy. So, but I figure you've actually taken some. I was just checking something. Yeah. So he's quite badly bruised on that arm at the moment. So,
if he knows it's going to affect him climbing, he's going to try to repair it first. He's going to use one of his cantrips to see whether or not he can actually.
Okay.
If he thinks
it's most definitely going to.
All right, if it's going to hurt him, so I mean he's going to listen before he casts his spell just to see whether or not he can hear anything else.
Okay, make a perception roll. No, you can't hear anything.
Okay, so he's going to touch.
Guys, do you have the to GM roll on your tokens? Like you have in Shadowrun.
No, I don't have it on.
Yeah, you do.
No,
At the
I
top,
can-
at the very top of your sheet, you've got settings, various bits and pieces, and then there's whisper
Yeah.
roles to GM, and then there's an off or
Oh,
an on.
right, okay.
So you can do it up there. I assume that's what
Okay.
you mean.
Yeah. So right on. Yeah, it says right at the top underneath settings. It says PC type. Then it says show naming role templates. Yes, and then it says whisper roles to DM. So if you put that to on, Gully,
Okay.
and
It's on
then
your character sheet, Big, and it's right. It's just to the left of the MoleRats logo at the very top of your character sheet. Sorry,
Right.
it was.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
and,
yeah.
and then now roll your perception. I just want to see how it actually comes up,
Okay.
or whether or not it actually works.
Good call.
So I can see whether or not it hits or it fails. I don't know. I don't think.
I've just had your latest perception roll, so it's gone inside the perception roll that you've got 55 on. No, you've got an easy tick, and that's all I've seen.
Right. Okay. So there's another one after that which I can see. So it's not a blind roll.
Oh, right. So what I need to do is copy that blind roll from
Blind
Shadow.
roll, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a problem.
Do you want me to? I mean, I can probably
No,
do the
I-
blind roll.
No, you can't because it's a script.
All right. I didn't know whether.
And
or not.
it won't put the easy, etc. up.
All right. Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking. But it's all right because I think what I might do, I'll think about it. I'll think about it as we come through. Yeah.
Okay. So as quietly as he can, he does have to give a verbal
Yeah.
component to this, but he's going to, with his fingers crossed, he's going to touch his arm, which he can feel, which is badly bruised, almost broken, to be honest with you. It's that bad. And as quietly as he can, touching it, he's going to whisper, Leia, and try to
Yeah. Cool. No. You feel the magic. You think you're too worked up with the adrenaline, and you just sort of like think it's not good. This Hengist and Briggs, can you make a perception roll, please? And this is going to be at formidable.
Oh!
Hengist does the best perception roll ever, especially since his perception is 18.
Hengist, so that's the best roll Hengist has ever done.
Briggs,
yeah,
Briggs,
pity is for perception and
Briggs, you just need to take that thing off again because it's now just coming through to me. Just put it back to no. Yeah, so Hengist, you actually hear from the ahead, somewhere in between this Gully utter a single word, and it's really, really quiet, and you almost like everybody else is just sort of like looking around like this, but you have no doubt you actually heard it, and it just sort of went. Yeah.
Sorry, do I remember the word that he uses as his healing word, or do I hear his voice? Sorry, or do I hear the actual word?
You hear the word. Well, with a roll of a 1, you actually hear the word. Have you, Gully? Have you heard? Will Hengist have heard this word and associate it with healing before?
I mean, he should have
healed me a
done.
couple of times.
Hang on.
Sorry.
That's why I addressed it to Gully.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he would have done. I'm sure I've healed him.
Okay, that's cool. So yes, you know that it's sort of like connected to his healing word beforehand.
Hengist is going to, having heard this, he's going to go, you shouldn't have sent him alone. He said, Gully's in trouble, we need to go now, but be careful. And he's gonna head off down the corridor, being slightly less worried about being stealthy, because you can actually hear the concern that he has in his voice now for Gully.
Cool. So can you make your stealth roll in any case, because you'll need to make it for something else that's around. So 15, yeah. So you're actually going down quite stealthily as you sort of like go down the tunnel, and then you need to make your evade roll.
Oh. I'll join him in the
Yeah, and all of a sudden you sort of like you're going down the thing, going in the same direction, and all of a sudden it's really weird because you just step out and you put your full weight on that front foot, and you just go whoosh, like that, and you literally head down this pit.
As soon as you hear me hit the bottom, and you would hear me hit the bottom because I'm wearing heavy armor, I'm just gonna hear go.
Okay, you actually you sort of like, you don't slide down like Gully did. You actually drop down, and you actually take 2 points of damage in your 7.
In my 7, that's my abdomen.
Yeah, so you actually almost like fall down, and actually you get a skull almost like in the base of your back as it goes down. Gully, you are all of a sudden sense that there's somebody behind you. You hear Hengist's word. He sort of like says "bugger" like that behind you. You sort of like sense that he's actually in. You know it's him, and you.
Gully's going to sort of almost whisper, and he's going to say, "Careful, Hengist, there's a pit."
No kidding. Hengist is going to say he's in a little bit of pain, so he's not going to be shouting, but he's not going to be whispering. He's going to be like, "No kidding, Gully."
What's Briggs going to do? Is he just staying with Lady Miko?
Briggs is staying in the light. He's not gonna.
There's no light at the moment.
There's no light at all.
No.
That's why I said to you earlier. I said, "Well, why don't you go down with Gully or following Gully, because you'll be heading towards the light."
So
when you sort of like get to the bottom of the pit, Hengist, you see that Gully's almost holding his right arm as if it's broken.
Hengist is going to look up. After standing up, he's going to go, how the hell did what? He's just going to sheath his sword, put his shield on his back, and he's going to wander over to Gully and go, I thought I told you to be careful. In a whispered voice. He's now conscious. Yeah, in a whispered voice. Just go, I thought I told you to be careful. Now look what you've made happen. In a slightly jokey sense.
Is Briggs doing anything, or?
Well, he's just stood with Lady Miko at the moment.
Okay,
Well,
so
it was so he's.
He wants to do what, Si?
Briggs thought that's where the light was because he didn't realize, because obviously, well, I heard that Gully left his lantern.
No, we both shuttered our lanterns so
Correct.
that we could approach the light
Yeah.
without drawing the attention that there was more light coming down the.
Correct.
So we left like a dark section,
Okay.
so that we didn't go into their light, so it would let them know that we were there. So we shuttered both the lanterns, and then
So
Gully
what-
went on ahead to see
what
whether or not he
Briggs
could get to the edge of the light. And Hengist turned around to you and said, "Do you want to go with him?"
You already shot off and went stealth before I had a chance to say anything. Anyway, so Briggs is either way. He's gonna be with Mika.
I think there's or if people want to say something and somebody's already done something, then I can always reverse it a bit. You know, so if somebody says, if Gully says I'm going off, then Briggs, you want to say I'm going with him, then that's fine. I can sort of like back it up a bit.
Because I do it all the time with Gully.
Yeah, so
No, it's fine. It's done now. I'll just.
Okay, so Gully wants to have another go at healing his arm, and he's going to say to Hengist, Hengist, I need to heal my arm because otherwise I can't climb out. And he's going to once again he's going to try this. He touches his right arm with his 2 fingers crossed, and he whispers Leia and tries to heal.
And he is successful.
So I don't know how. Oh, hang on. Let me roll the thing because it tells me.
Yeah. It restores all lost hit points instantly.
Okay, so I've lost 2 out of the 3, so that would put it back up to.
It goes right
3.
way up, yeah.
With a loss of another magic point.
If it's serious or major wounds, you don't get anything back, but you're stabilized, so it'll prevent you sort of like dying.
So Hengist, you see Gully with his fingers crossed touching his arm like that, and he says Leia again, which is what you now know is his the spell that he uses to heal. And after he's done that, he's moving his arm around like that and sort of like stretching it out as if there was nothing wrong with it.
So
even though it's still a bit dark down here,
so you know now, Gully, that you've got handholds down there.
Okay, so Gully's going to go up to Hengist and he's going to whisper, I've made some handholds to climb out the other side.
Good thinking, Gully.
If you feel them, there's 3 of them.
Good.
And
good
Gully's
thinking,
going to go over and he's going to say to Hengist, do you want to go first or shall I?
I'll go first, lad, and then I'll try and see if it's clear. I'll give you put my hand up to help you up.
Okay.
And Hengist is going to go over and climb up.
Climb skill. I can't find a climb skill.
It's athletics.
Right. Oh dear.
So you're going to have to sheathe your sword and put your shield on the back.
I've already done. I said I've already done that.
Oh, when did you do that? I thought you were carrying a sword out.
After as I stood up from being fallen in the thing, I thought
Right.
If I hadn't, then that's what he would have done. He would have done that because he wanted to go over and check that Gully was okay anyway.
Yeah. So that's fine. So you can do that, as I said, and then you can roll your athletics skill. Yeah. So you quite happily sort of like get out. And then you can actually help Gully out the other side. So Gully, this will now be very easy, you know.
I didn't roll that.
Sorry, no, that was me. I thought that's what you wanted me to do. So I thought I'd roll a brawn roll to help heave him out.
And
I actually do it as standard.
Yeah, and you quite happily sort of like nip out of it, and then that's it. Yeah. You're well and truly out on the other side.
Once Gully's out, Hengist is going to get his sword and shield out ready again, and turn his back to the pit.
Are we still in the dark here? Are we still in the dark area?
Yeah, you can see you can sort of like you can see what's ahead of you and in the glow, and so you're a lot closer now. You're literally about you can probably see into the area now. Let me just check. Yeah, I mean, I'll put you onto the map, okay, but you can see this sort of like glowing area, so you will actually be able to see all the map, because I'm assuming that you're going to go forward and into the area.
Well, before Gully does that, he wants to almost like feel along the edge of the pit that they've fallen down and see whether or not it goes right the way across to both walls.
Yeah, well, if I move you onto the map, because actually on the map, I can sort of like I can draw it on for you, so you can see it. Yeah. So just to let you know, the where Lady Miko and Briggs is not right. they're further down the corridor.
Okay, yeah.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I just need to zoom out a bit just so I can get. Why won't you let me do that? Oh, there we go. There we go.
So it doesn't go right the way up to the edge, and that's why you didn't actually. That's why you just slid down it.
Is there almost like a? Is there enough to walk down the side, or?
Yeah, if you, let's put it this way, if you knew where the pit was, you could quite easily avoid it.
Right. Okay. And has Gully now got an idea of the positioning of the pit and the sides?
Yes, yeah, by sort of like reaching out and going through it, and just out of interest, just by you, Gully, propped up against the wall, as you're sort of like reaching around in the darkness, you seem to find what appears to be a plank. It seems to be. It's almost like. I'll put it on for you. It's almost like.
Is it wide enough and probably long enough to be able to go across the pit and make a?
Yeah, so you sort of like go right the way along it and right the way back it, and yeah, you definitely think it will stretch across the pit. Most definitely. Whether or not you can actually do it in the darkness is another matter.
Okay. The cavern in front of us.
Yeah. That's all sort of like in a soft glow. So if you use your sort of like if you role play it, so obviously you can see it all, but really sort of like think about what you could see and what you couldn't see. There doesn't look like to be anybody in the cavern or anything in the cavern.
Okay, so Gully's going to he's going to sort of like remain crouched there at the other side of the pit, and he's going to observe the cavern for a while, and he's looking for. Do you know when things pass in front of the light source and you get the shadows? He's looking for anything like that against the cavern walls to see whether or not there's anything at all moving within.
Yeah, and you're sort of like quietly looking out and sort of like thing, and all of a sudden, and Briggs, you notice this as well now. Lady Miko is a little bit perturbed that you two have sort of like gone off by yourselves and not come back and not said anything. So she all of a sudden unshutters a lantern and sort of like starts to walk forward and sort of like almost like comes to the edge of the pit. So her light is actually now shining sort of like right the way up to here.
So I can now see this plank and the
and
in all full all its glory. So with that, Gully is going to try to maneuver the plank so that he can push it over the pit.
Yeah, well, interestingly, there's also one on Hengist's side as well. It's just that he didn't notice it until the light came into existence.
Okay, so Gully's going to move his across and put it in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they probably form like a set of tram lines, sort of like a double thing. Maybe
that you could roll a barrel across.
Most definitely. And once you put it into place.
Well, what we're going to do, rather than having tram lines, we're going to have them both together so that they're easier for somebody to walk across rather than a barrel to go
and
across.
Sort of like Lady Miko, sort of like daintily comes across with her lantern. And so now you can actually see what is actually ahead of you.
Okay. Gully's going to take out from his belt, almost like a bit of string with a bit of leather in it, and from his other belt, he's going to take out from a belt pouch. He's going to take out a small object.
Okay. And I think, gentlemen, we will leave the investigation of this cave or this cavern or whatever it might be till next time, because it's just gone 10:30, which means that we've been playing for our 3 hours. So we will leave you there about to investigate that cavern, ready for not next week, because Longshanks EPG is on a booze cruise next week and will not be here. But definitely
with his combat rolls, do we need him?
No, probably not.
Definitely.
Maybe we've got a perception roll.
Could Miko and Gully maybe do it?
Well, probably, maybe, but we will wait and see. So we're not back next week, but the week after. So this is an opportunity for you to tell people where they can find you, starting with you, Gully, who was played tonight by Chuckawugga.
Yes, I'm Chuckawugga. You can find me here on Saturdays, apart from next Saturday, playing RuneQuest 6 Mithras. You can also find me on Tuesdays, but not this Tuesday, playing Shadowrun, where I play Studley, the combat mage. You can also find me in Inwells's channel, not today,
No,
but tomorrow,
I was at work.
where I moderate. Yes.
Excellent.
Hello.
And beneath you, we have Big Beastie.
I am Big Beastie. I've been playing Briggs, and you can catch me in my own channel, streaming when I can be bothered. Other than that, you can catch me in Wills's channel on a Tuesday playing Shadowrun. Again, not this Saturday, but next.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Playing Mithras, and in Wills's channel when he's streaming, just lurking in the background.
Excellent. And finally, we have Longshanks EPG.
Hi guys, I'm Longshanks EPG. I've been failing to play Hengist for the first half of the game, and the second half of the game he started to get decent dice rolls again. You can usually find me with these three lovely people playing Shadowrun, as mentioned, on most Tuesdays, and Mithras on most Saturdays, but obviously not around next week.
Brilliant. Okay, so I have been DMing for these wonderful people tonight. My name's Inwills, and you have been here in the back of Beyond, in the humble corner of Twitch, listening to us play Mithras stroke RuneQuest 6. I hope you've RuneQuest 6. I hope you've enjoyed tonight and enjoyed the roles getting better and better. And I hope now that you've seen how the game played, you will come back next week. Please remember, if you have enjoyed tonight's game, then by all means, please remember to press the follow button and come back next week. If you missed any of the adventure, then you can always find the adventures, all the past adventures as well, over on my website, which is inwills.co.uk, as well as all the past Shadowrun adventures. So please do go along and have a look at that.
Go watch the last one then.
No, maybe not. Oh, no, do watch the last one. I quite like the last one. I will be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock for some ESO, Elder Scrolls Online. And so please do come along, 3 o'clock BST time. And I couldn't play today because of work, but I will be back.
So he's going to
tomorrow.
play double the amount of hours tomorrow.
I certainly will not be. so anyway, it only remains for me to say my usual way, have fun, guys. And I'll catch you all later. And until then, consider yourself waffled. Have fun, guys. Bye.
Goodbye.